Matchup, of course, we're talking about quarterback Ryan Tannehill, who's had an up-and-down season, but over the past 3 games, much like Burrow, he's found his groove. With that in mind, let's talk Tannehill, his biggest strength as they face the Bengals, Danny.
Well, I think he's the definition of a game manager, and he's going to be consistent. He's going to be durable. He's going to be out there for you to count on. Somebody that, can get in and out of the huddle. And even without Derrick Henry, the fact that this team is still a #1 seed is pretty remarkable. And I know they've had a supporting cast around him that has done a pretty good job, but I think you still have to look at Ryan Tannehill and the job he's done as the quarterback there. And there have been a lot of critics, myself included, and coming down the stretch, he's sort of figured things out and been much more consistent as just a deliverer in this offense. Now, it's going to put, you'll see where I get to in the weakness where maybe it sounds counterintuitive, but if he has Derrick Henry, which everyone is waiting on bated breath to see what Derrick Henry looks like, his play has been much more consistent. And, if you don't have your lead back, who's one of the better backs in the NFL, I think that's understandable if at times he's trying to do too much this season.
Yeah, expected to have a decision on Derrick Henry's status on Friday. Still has not been activated off the IR. Okay, so for Tannehill then, what's his biggest weakness?
So I think he needs the run game. He needs Derrick Henry to be back. They need that, he needs to work off a play action pass. He needs to get guys open down the field that would get the safeties to suck up and the linebackers to come up and bite on the run. And that's where he's at his best, is when you can take advantage of that. Or when you can get him outside off the, bootlegs and play action and get him on the perimeter with his legs, because he is a pretty good athlete, somebody who played wide receiver before. But you look at the numbers, and it is pretty startling how different Ed has been. I mentioned him as a game manager. He really got exposed somewhat as a quarterback who can't just put the team on his back and say, all right, I'm going to throw it all over the yard and take you up and down the field. He really does need that run game. And when they do have Derrick Henry and they do have that run game, he's in the MVP conversation. When he's not, he becomes very pedestrian.
What's the top player prop then for Tannehill that you've seen?
So this one is the flip side of what we were talking about with Joe Burrow. And I'm going to look at the passing yardage total and go under, because even if Derrick Henry goes or he doesn't, I still think Mike Vrabel and this offensive staff, they understand the importance of, running the football, limiting Ryan Tannehill. They do not want to get in a shootout with Joe Burrow, because I think if you've gotten that sort of game, it clearly favors the Cincinnati Bengals, and it hurts the Tennessee Titans. You're playing at home. The other thing is, too, you're keeping the ball out of the hands of Joe Burrow. It's Joe Burrow can catch momentum. He gets hot. And if he's coming back on the field and getting in a shootout, he finds his rhythm. That can be a scary proposition for the Titans. So I think there's going to be a heavy dose of the run game, whether Derrick Henry's out there or not. I think they're really going to try to stay committed to it. And then it's going to be more of the conservative approach. Let's run the ball. Let's keep it out of the hands of Burrow. And let's make sure we keep this thing in our hands where we can control the time of possession. So I think it'll be more of what you expect from Ryan Tannehill and where he's had some success, where you limit his exposure. So I'm going to say under his passing yardage total.
So overall, Danny, when you look at the quarterback matchup, you giving the edge to the Bengals and Burrow?
Yeah, I am. And, it's one of those great unknowns. I mean, I think you could see a game where Ryan Tannehill could, come out and have a very clean game and 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 230 yards passing. But if all things are equal and you gave each guy, the ball with 2 minutes and you had to come from behind, I would go with Joe Burrow every single time. The future is brighter for him, too. I just think he doesn't have the supporting cast right now. But just quarterback edge, I would give to Joe Burrow.
You saw the numbers there, the difference in his numbers when he has Derrick Henry in lineup and he doesn't. Kind of an up and down season for him based on that.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.